Hi guys, so this is my 12-week baby belly, and you can't see it too well in this outfit. I wore this for a photo shoot today. Here it is from the front. Here it is from this side. Here is my belly. I don't think I grew that much since my 10-week. There is the front, and there is the side. And today we're going to discuss my 12-week bump date. This is my last week in the first trimester, and the baby is the size of a lime. Yes, I read that the baby is the size of a little lime. I read that the baby is fully formed at this point and just needs to mature over the next 28 weeks. And that's exciting. And I also read that since my 10-week bump date, that the baby has doubled in size. Doubled in size. That's why I've been so tired. I also read that the baby actually started producing its own hormones already from the pituitary gland. I also read that the baby really moves around at this point, and the reflexes are starting to get stronger and more noticeable, but not noticeable to me yet. If you actually had an ultrasound, you notice it, but I don't feel a thing yet. And usually I don't feel a thing with any of my pregnancies until the baby is about 18 weeks. I also read an interesting fact that I always read each time I'm pregnant, but it always strikes me as very interesting every pregnancy when I read it, is that, when you're in the first trimester, the intestines grow so fast that they protrude into the umbilical cord. Right around now is when they start to go back into the belly. I just think that's interesting that it just rapidly grows so fast it can't all stay in the stomach, and then it all of a sudden goes back. I find that pretty interesting. But anyway, guys, since I talked to you guys last, I have gone for my 12-week checkup at the birth center, and I have found out a couple things. I got my blood checked, and they checked for a bunch of things, which everything came back normal and good. My vitamin D levels, which were actually high before I got pregnant, I actually had to go off. I was on a vitamin D supplement. I actually had to go off of it. Most people don't have this problem. Most people are too low. But I was taking too much vitamin D, got my levels checked again, and I stopped taking vitamin D supplements right now. I actually went back down to a really good level now. So now I actually have to start taking vitamin D supplements again so they don't get too low. I have to be careful they don't take as much as I did before. It's a fine-tuning, because with vitamin D you can take too little and have if it's under 40, you can, for your blood test it can be too low. You can have all these risks of cancer and different other things. But if it's too high, I was above 100, and that's actually considered high, and then you can have other symptoms that aren't good. Yeah, now I'm 63, so now I'm smack in the middle. I also found out that my iron levels were good. I was curious about that because I've been very, very, very tired. And I didn't know if my iron levels were off, but apparently they're normal. So I guess the reason why I've been so tired is just because I'm pregnant. Go figure. I also found, they were able to find a heartbeat on the Doppler when I was there. And I was extremely nervous about this because I miscarried, as I had said in the other updates. I miscarried around 11, 12 weeks pregnant before. So I always get super nervous when I'm right around this point in pregnancy that is going to happen again for me. Of course, when I went for my checkup, I held my breath and I was, praying about it and hoping that they found a heartbeat and everything looked good. They were able to. She sensed my nervousness as soon as I came in there, and she said to me, we're going to check the heartbeat first before we go through the whole rest of the appointment today. So that way it can put your mind at ease, hopefully. Checked the heartbeat, and it took a while for her to find it, and I was a little nervous about that. But she's like, your baby's so little right now that it can be hard to find the heartbeat. It can take a while. But she ended up finding it. It was pretty faint because the baby's still so little, and it's still buried in your uterus. It's not like your belly is stretched out yet. So they told me that the baby's heartbeat was about 155 beats per minute, which is extremely good. I don't know, they have wives' tales that tell you below 150 is a boy, above 150 is a girl. But I read so much things online that's just a myth. It's all fabricated. There's nothing, no ounce of fact into there. We shall see. They also, when they were checking me, they measured my uterus and they said that it is measuring appropriately at 12 weeks, which makes me super excited and, you know, less nervous about the pregnancy too. Because I did recently hear about somebody else that has a YouTube channel that was pregnant around the same time as me and had a miscarriage. And that's what makes me nervous. I'm scared of that, you know, because of going through that before. And my sympathy is there for you. And I'm so sorry to hear that that happened to you. And hopefully you can get some good news soon. I know how it feels. So how do we feel about a Christmas baby? Seriously, none of our other kids were born on Christmas. We have an August baby. We have a November baby. We have an April baby and a May baby. We've had no babies born around winter time. This is new for us, especially right around Christmas. Obviously, it wouldn't have been our first choice choosing a baby to be born right around Christmas, but it is what it is. And it's kind of, in a way, exciting because, you know, my husband won't have to take as much time off because it's between Christmas and New Year's, and he already gets a lot of days off of work. But then another way, I've heard people that had Christmas birthdays that say, oh, they hated it, that they hated having their birthday right around Christmas because they didn't get as many gifts or get acknowledged as much. So in that way, it makes me a little nervous, but it is what it is at this point. But my due date, like I said, is December 22nd. I did, in fact, go late with all my kids. Every single one of my kids, I went 2.5 to 3 days late. My body is like clockwork. What can I say? I imagine that this baby is going to be due, like come out on Christmas Eve or Christmas. Yeah, I guess I'm not attending Christmas Eve service this year. One thing I forgot to mention in my 12-week checkup is I got a high-risk blood test. I choose not to get amniocentesis just because it heightens the risk of miscarriage, and I would not choose, you know, to abort my baby even if it showed something. I would just choose to go with it anyway. I always opted out of the amniocentesis, and they never really had another option with any of my other pregnancies. But then with Kellyanna, my 4th child, they all of a sudden had this new test that they offered through my insurance to get a blood test. All they do is take your blood. It's not invasive. There's not a high risk of miscarriage. And in that test, they can tell you by like 95% certain things that may be wrong with your child. While they're at it, they can tell you the gender. Isn't that weird, guys, that through your blood, they can tell you stuff about your baby? I just find that interesting. So pieces of your baby are floating in your blood, telling, you know, like, it's just weird. Like, so you have, like, I guess you give off more testosterone when you're having a boy and more estrogen when you're having a girl. Like that DNA that floats through. I just found that interesting, and I opted for it with Kellyanna. And as I said, if it would have came back with something, I would have still, you know, gone ahead with the pregnancy. But I thought, well, since it's just a blood test, there's not a higher risk of miscarriage, I will just give it a go and see what it comes back as. Fortunately, it came back completely normal, and they told me with Kellyanna that I was having a girl. But I waited to tell everybody until I had an ultrasound anyway, just to make doubly sure. This time around, I'm opted to get it again since I had good success the last time. And hopefully I come back with good results again and have nothing that shows up in the blood test. I've heard of people getting false positives too, where they come back showing that they have a Down syndrome baby, and then they actually, when they give birth, they don't have a Down syndrome baby. So I'm hoping for good news, and in the meantime, they're going to be coming back telling me the gender. So in the meantime, in a few weeks, I'm going to be finding out the gender. Of course, I'm going to wait to tell you guys all until I have my 20-week ultrasound, and my family, you know, because I like to make doubly sure that, you know, it's accurate. So I like to see, and I will be having a gender reveal party after my 20-week ultrasound. As far as gender, what do we prefer? We don't care. We don't care. We got 2 boys and 2 girls. Both have their pros and cons. Both of them have their pros and cons. You know, with a girl, it would be a nice friend, like I said, for Kellyanna. And it also, girls' clothes are fun. It just would, in that way, it would be nice. But then the boy, like I said before, we have a name for the boy already, and that makes it easy. The space in the boys' room there's more space in there. I would have to be more creative with the space in the girls' room if we had a girl. Not that it's not workable, because I've seen people do it and we could definitely work with it. We might have to make a trip to IKEA, getting all kinds of organizational stuff to make it work. But girls have more stuff, so we would have to figure things out more if it was a girl, how to maneuver things to fit them all the girls and all their clothes in there. It definitely would be easier for a boy. And there's different things like, the boys, of course, Brody and Cohen would like another brother, they say. And as for me, like, I don't really care either way. Like, now my sister just had a little girl, Rosie, like she had her just the other month. So if I would have a girl, they would only be 6 months apart. No, I guess it would be 8 months apart if I had a girl. So in that way it would be cute too. The girl cousins could have each other. And me and my sister would be 4 for 4. We've had 3 babies at the same time as each other, the same gender. It's weird how it worked out like that. So if it was the same gender this time, it would be 4 kids the same ages and gender, which is fun whenever it works out like that. But we'll see. I still haven't had a chance to get out my maternity clothes. I know. I just been so crazy busy lately. I had to do my daughter's homeschool portfolio. I just been tremendously busy and meeting with the evaluator, going to the township for the homeschooling, and doing other things as a mom, that I haven't had time to get out, pull out the maternity clothes, wash them, put them in the room. So therefore, I'm still working with clothes I already have in my closet, regular, non-maternity clothes. So far, I've still been able to find enough to wear. My belly's still not big enough where it's not possible. So I'm still in, all my clothes that I'm wearing right now are all non-maternity clothes. I hope by my 14-week bump date that I have my maternity clothes out. As far as symptoms go, I've been still very tired. Since my last update, I've gotten even more tired than I was before. So I was very tired. Then at my 8-week, then I wasn't at my 10-week. I wasn't as much. Now at my 12-week, the last 2 weeks have been very tiring for me. I'm way more tired again. Going to bed as soon as the kids go to bed. Just like as soon as they're in bed, I go to bed and sleep like 8 to 10 hours. It's crazy. But I guess the baby, I read, doubled in size, so that's probably why. And the other symptom is I kind of have weirdness, like weird nausea this time around. Like other pregnancies, I remember getting up out of bed, puking right away, and that was that. This time around, it's just an odd nausea. Like I'll have it off and on throughout the day at random times, and hardly ever throw up though. I'll just feel nauseous, like off and on. Not every day, but some days in particular are way worse than others. I know this might be TMI for you guys, but I am suffering from constipation. I know that can be a big symptom of pregnancy. I've read it because your digestive system relaxes and just everything it slows down. Nothing works as good. And so I've been suffering from that. I'm trying to eat more prunes and apples and prune juice. I just drank disgusting prune juice the other day, but it did help. It did make me go. So I guess I got to do that every single day of this pregnancy, because if I don't, I notice I get constipated. And when you get constipated, you have a higher chance of hemorrhoids. I know I'm speaking disgusting talk, but it's true. In pregnancy, you have a higher risk of hemorrhoids. And I got it with the last pregnancy with Kellyanna. I don't particularly feel like dealing with it again. So I gotta start drinking prune juice every single day. As far as cravings go, I craved wings before at the last update, and I got my wings like I wanted. Now I was craving steak, and I got steak last night. I made my husband run out for steak and got a nice juicy piece of steak on the grill, and I was excited about that. And I was also craving pizza recently, and I'm getting plenty of pizza. I don't want to get too much pizza. And I also wanted to point out that since my last update, when I went to my 12-week birth appointment, I found out I gained 2 more pounds during this pregnancy. So I went from 127 to 129. So therefore, I'm up 2 pounds. So in the last 3 weeks, because it's been 3 weeks since I went to a birth appointment. That's where I am as far as my weight. I'm not too concerned about it. It's come off 4 other times, and it will come off this next time. I'll be working it off after this, and you can join my journey as I try to work it off postpartum. I'll do maybe some fitness video updates. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also, leave comments below. I love your comments. If you have any ideas of future things you want to see other than bump dates, let me know. I know somebody suggested kid room tours. I'll be sure to get them out sometime this coming month. I have to clean the kids' rooms good before I do the room tours. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video, and until next time, fly high and dream big.